Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay Will. So the smartphone buying guide is very difficult nowadays because there are so many options out there for smartphones. Well, I've got the Essential phone and I've got the Mi A2. Now both of these phones are stock Android phones. This one is already on Android Pie and this one just released is on 8.1.0. So in this video I just wanted to talk and compare some things about the phones, and some of you guys might be indifferent about which one of these phones you would like to use for your daily driver. So let's start with the price. Now the price of these phones, it varies. This phone should not be more than 300 bucks anywhere you purchase it from. There's a link in the description so you can grab yours. And this phone right here shouldn't be more than $400. So you can find this phone for $399 with a complete package of the camera, the headphones, everything on Essential's website right now. And then you can find this phone on GearBest and other sources like eBay and stuff like that, and Amazon for no more than $265 or so, $270. So you got to get the price range that you want to stay in, and then you have to stay there. You have to discipline yourself to not spend more than you want to spend. Now, if it's a difference of like $5 outside of your budget or 10 bucks, then I would say just go for it if you're going to get a heck of a lot more, like another gig of RAM or double the memory or something like that. So price point, that is where these are sitting currently. This phone at one point did drop to 250 bucks, and a lot of people grabbed it on Amazon Prime Day, but that's not the regular price. That was just a promo. So we're really hoping that they do that again to clear out some more inventory, and I think that would be really good. So price, this is what you get. Now let's talk about the screens. The screens on both of these phones are nice. You've got a 5.7-inch display over here, and then you've got a 6-inch display over here. Now this is technically a 1080p display, and this is too. So both of these to me look fantastic. And I think with either screen, you really won't have an issue with viewing outside, or you shouldn't. I don't have an issue with it. Viewing outside or really bright areas, and then low light is actually pretty nice. But when it comes to clarity, I actually favor the Mi A2 just a little bit better for detail and just looking at the screen itself. I don't know why that is, but I do. I just like the screen on the Mi A2 just a hair better. And it's not that it's a little bit bigger. And I'll get to that in just a second. It's not because it's a little bit bigger. It's something about the screen. I just like the way it looks. I think it produces the colors really nicely, and that's just my personal opinion on that. Next is the design and build quality. Now here's where the Essential phone pretty much shoots down a lot of phones out there. There are no ceramic and titanium phones out there. Now just because this phone is ceramic and titanium, that doesn't mean that it can't break. In fact, it probably will break faster than this phone. Because I've dropped my Mi A1 and did nothing, but I've heard of people dropping their Essential phone and shattering the screen immediately. So I don't know, but the fact that this does have titanium and ceramic for the build quality, it definitely feels premium, but I still favor aluminum bodies over all these glass and these different types. This looks really great. However, this feels much better. It's got obviously a little bit, it's got that matte feel because of the aluminum, and it just feels nice. Now as far as build quality or size and hand, this one is obviously a little bit smaller, and the design is different. It's a boxier design on here, and this is going more towards that big, the top and bottom bezels are there, and you're getting the screen in the center. But as far as carrying both of these, I don't really have a preference which one I think is better as far as size goes. This one's obviously smaller, so it's going to be smaller in your pocket, but this one isn't that much bigger. And again, I like the form factor of the way the screen is on here, so I kind of favor them both. I don't really have a favorite when it comes to that one. I think I like them both because when I'm using one, I like it, and when I'm using the other, I like it. So yeah. Now as far as battery life goes, the Mi A2 has definitely got better battery life, and that's just in my experience. Your battery life might be a little different, and that's not to say that the Essential phone has bad battery life. It's just that the way the Mi A2 is put together, the battery just works great. The optimization of the software. Now this is new to Pi, and I will have a video update on Android Pi's battery life. But even when it wasn't on Pi, I didn't have bad battery life. But for some reason, the Mi A2 and the Mi A1, all these Xiaomi devices, they get great battery life, and it's optimized just right for you. So I would say, definitely the Mi A2 has the better battery life, and I'm really happy with the battery life on both. But this one really goes. This one, I don't think I could make it quite through a full day. I can make it through a full work day, obviously, if I worked. But I could definitely make it through at least 20 hours on a charge with this, minimum. But you'll get way more. You'll get you should get about a day and a half, or at least on this one. So that's kind of what to expect, at least in my experience. Now, as far as performance goes, these are both on stock Android platforms. Now, Pi is still new, so there's probably gonna be some kinks and things that need to be worked out. But Essential's been doing good at pushing out updates. I mean, think about where this phone came from. Yeah, and this phone is brand new, but it's an Android 1 device, and it gets updates straight from Google. So Essential has been doing well working with Google directly to get the updates to this phone. But I know this phone is going to get updates, so that's why I kind of run with the Xiaomi phones. Android 1 phones when it comes to updates, because this phone is going to get the updates. However, the Essential phone has done very well with updates. Essential has pushed out so many updates to this phone. It is unreal. I mean, it's unbelievable how many updates this phone gets, and I applaud Essential for staying on top of it, man. They took on the challenge of starting a company, and they faced an uphill battle, and look at it now. They've beat nearly every other OEM to Android Pie. You've got phones releasing like the Galaxy Note 9 that don't have Android Pie, which to me, when a new phone comes out, I know Pie just released, but the OEMs have to start getting with Google and say, hey, we need to go ahead and get this so we can get it with launch, get more appeal to our devices. Like, so your new Note 9 probably isn't going to get Android Pie for a very long time, so consider that. But on the other hand, 8.1.0 is extremely stable for me, and I just don't have any issues with either one of these things. Now, both of these have 4 gigs of RAM. This has 128 gigs of storage. This one has 32, but you do have an SD card slot. And there's a 128 gig version of this phone, though, by the way, and it still won't cost you more than $400, and that's just the great part about it. But this does have an SD card slot too, so that's something to consider when buying these phones. This one actually comes in a 6 gig version too, so yeah. Now, when it comes to cameras, this is where the Essential phone, it's just, man, so many people were so upset about the Essential phone's cameras. I personally wasn't. I think they were great from the beginning, but that's just me. You draw your own conclusions and you do what you think is right when it comes to picking a phone that's going to please you with cameras. But I personally feel like both of these phones have great cameras. One is going to be better than the other, but you decide on which camera you think is actually better and what's to your liking, because everyone's eyes is going to project things differently. Some people like a lot of saturation, some people don't, and that's just what it is. So overall, which one of these would I pick if I just had to keep one for 2 years? I would definitely go with the Mi A2, and that's because I get a little bit bigger screen, I get better battery, the cameras are great, and the audio recording from here is fantastic, man. I mean, it really is. They both record in 4K, but this one does 4K on the front. But for this phone, something about it, I don't know, I think the Xiaomi phones perform really, really well with no issues. And Essential is possibly not going to make any more of these. So when will the support end? Or when will I stop getting updates? I don't really read too much online about getting updates, because realistically, getting updates on this phone is really not important on either one of them. But if both of these phones had to stay as is right now, I would choose the Mi A2, because I like the design, I like the bigger screen, the speaker quality is nice, the audio recording is really nice, and it's probably a little bit more durable than this phone right here. I don't know, and it's an Android 1 phone too. This is an Essential phone. It's just getting a lot of support for Google, but this is an Android 1 phone, so it's going to get updates from Google. How long? I don't know, but taking all that away, I think I favor the Mi A2 just a little bit better. That's my personal opinion. Some of you may ask, which one do you think? Which one do you think? They're both great, and you can't go wrong with either one. I just personally think the Mi A2 is more to my liking. It's your man, Jay Will. I'll see you in the next video.